Button. Hey everybody, welcome to Jaws Breakers,
Whoop whoop.
the scary, funny shark movie horror comedy show, or something like that. I'll get the title right someday. Uh, my name is Brett. I am a guy who watches horror movies with his sister Blister from another Mister, and her name is that one.
It's Jasmine, aka
And
Meteor Doll.
aka Meteor Doll. Hi Jasmine, how are you?
I'm okay, I'm sick. So if I sound a little weird, guys, that's why I'm sick.
You caught the doom.
Nah, I don't think I did. But I did get tested if anyone's curious. I
I
just haven't
was.
done my test results yet.
I got tested too,
You?
just in case.
Just in case.
Yep,
It's
because we.
pretty easy to get tested nowadays.
When you did yours, did you have to? Then they were like, okay, so you do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go around to our back door and throw it in a trash can by the back door.
No.
That's
I
what I
did.
did.
Mine was a drive-through.
Mine was a drive-through. She gave it to me. She said, pull out a line. She showed me how to do it, and then she said, walk to the back of the pharmacy, and there's a blue trash can. Put it in there. And there were no other samples in there. There was no lid. It literally looked like just a garbage can. So I think I just threw my sample in the trash.
Ooh, big oof.
But that was the only blue can there, and it was by the back door.
Who
It
did
just
you
seemed
do
very
it with?
strange. We don't need to get into that.
Well,
But
Rika
hey,
says hi, everybody.
hey everybody, hey other puppies and all the dogs that are listening to this within earshot. How are you doing? Wait a minute. For all you dogs that are listening within earshot. All right, have fun with that. Hey, we watched a movie.
We sure did, and that movie was Planet of the Sharks.
Well, spoiler alert. Yep, we watched Planet of the Sharks. So before we get started, shout out as always to the people that watched it with us. IX Pennywise, Cisco, aka Clation, Tiny Mom Shark, Nanook, and our Auntie Chris, and anyone we might have missed. Thank you so much for being there.
Yeah.
So, Jasmine, what'd you think? First, did it live up to the expectations from the trailer?
No.
No.
It was better than all the other ones, but
No, it absolutely was not better than House Shark.
I
Lie.
I was expecting a lot more. Again, I think I just have too high of expectations for these movies.
You definitely
Um,
your expectations should absolutely be low for all the movies.
I know. I just keep thinking they're gonna be good.
Except for like a couple of like the hang on a second. Except for
Everyone's
a couple.
gonna be tired of me. Jasmine doesn't like a single movie that she watches.
No, like what I was saying was, with the exception of like the timeless classics on our list, like eventually we'll do Jaws and stuff like that. Other than that, like you should expect them all to be bad.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
The
I
entertainment
had
value
high
is in their
expectations.
terribleness.
The trailer looked great. I was like, yes, apocalypse. Like, I think that the acting's gonna be better. And boy, was I wrong. I didn't like the movie really, and you know what? We're gonna go to the segment where I talk about all the ratings, and I'm gonna give that to you guys. Um, it got a 2.6 out of 10 from IMDb. It got 9% Rotten Tomatoes, and 47% of Google users liked the movie. And I would not be in that 47%. What about you?
I here's the thing. As the English language. Sorry, I can't speak. If we're holding it up to the lens of is this a good movie, it's not. If we're holding up to the lens of is this a good like B horror movie, it's not. Is this even a good horror movie? It's not.
A good action movie?
Is it a good B horror shark movie? I think that it is.
I think I give it a C plus.
I would also give. I would give it. Yeah, absolutely.
C
I
plus
feel
is
like
basic.
I feel
It
like
passes, but it wasn't like I'm definitely gonna go see this movie again. Those of you who do not know, Planet of the Sharks was actually directed and written by a Mark Adkins. And again, we're probably going to see more of this director because he also did Six-Headed Shark, Empire of the Shark, Sand Shark, and Shark Season. So, the shark movies that he's done, I'm sure some of those are on our list. So, I'm sure we're going to see more of this Mark Adkins. Hopefully, he got better since this movie came out in 2016.
yeah, all those are in fact on my list.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, everyone was talking about the movie specifically itself. I feel like most of the actors were fair to good.
Except for one.
Who's your one?
The accent, the Louisiana.
Oh, her? No. She was the best one.
I don't know. I mean,
She's the best one for sure.
She put her heart out.
That's what I'm saying. She did good.
Was it good? She put her heart out, but was it good?
It was good cheese. It was absolutely good. No, the bad one that I would think was you would have said was the bad one were like the two scientists that were back at the base.
No, they were all scientists for the most part again.
Right. No. I'm talking about the Asian, not Asian, with the bow tie and his love interest.
You're talking about Hido Ishiro.
Yep.
And Dr.
Hideo.
Caroline.
Yeah. They were, I think, the worst ones.
Hido Ishiro.
Hideo. Or Hideo.
You think that he would be an Asian man.
He's not. It's very strange, and they do not touch it. Like, you can be a different race and like born in Japan or something. So I mean, I guess it's not crazy.
But they didn't really give you any background.
We got no background as to why this like Norwegian scientist with a Norwegian accent or Eastern European accent.
Katana and everything.
Yeah. No, he didn't even have a katana. He had like the step down blade, the one that was half the size. Yeah.
Tonto. Yeah, he had a Tonto, which he pulled out later in the movie, and he's just over here like swinging his Tonto, hacking sharks in midair.
Everyone is overly greasy in this movie.
But
I guess I get it.
They were saying temperatures were rising, and that's why.
Also, if you've ever spent any time at sea, like the water reflects off the light and stuff, like you get mega burnt quick. That's the thing. Like all these people should have been like sunburnt to death in this apocalypse, but instead they were just greasy.
Oh yeah,
and hot.
And they were in this. For those of you who didn't know, which you probably don't know, this movie was actually filmed in South Africa, so I'm guessing it had to be pretty.
That was also different. It's not like a location you think of when you think of like bad shark movies, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe they got a big scene out there I don't know about.
The other bad aspect was they filmed it on the water, but they didn't film it in any deep water. Like you could tell half the time that they were swimming, and the sand was underneath them. It was like,
just dirty water.
Oh, the shark's gonna come get me! But then you could see that it was a sandy bottom.
But also, did they ever mention that like they were around New York?
No, but that was in the trailer.
No, that was at that was at the end of the movie when the water is somehow draining away. That's not how reverse global warming works.
They're like I said, they're what did I say the whole time? Scientists make sensitists. They make sensitists. Everything makes sense because they're scientists. Because they're a scientist, they make sensitists.
I guess.
Well, they said that they were going to put a bomb or something and on a rocket and shoot it up into the sky, and it's basically somehow going to magically reverse the global warming that had occurred, which didn't make any sense. I don't know how. And they're like, it's going to be the opposite of global warming, but like where it happened so soon too. The water just started like instantly draining, and you could start seeing the cities, and it's like, But where did the water, like, what did you do? Are you making the water evaporate? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, you can't just like refreeze that water back into the Arctic and just let it go down. Like that doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah, they're like, it's the opposite. So you think, okay, well, are
also,
they going to
I'm
refreeze?
not
But no.
certain. I'm not certain that if you melted the polar ice caps, if it would completely submerge the entirety of New York City and all of its skyscrapers.
Well,
But
the
I can
whole
find out.
world.
But I can find out.
If the whole world melts, if it'll all be underwater. And while he does that, we'll go over the quick list of most of the cast members, the main ones. We had Stephanie Barron, who was Dr. Shane, which was the brunette, who did the kite surfing. Is that what that was? I don't know what that was. Brandon Orett, which played Dylan Barrick, which was the owner of the boat that we saw. A very rugged guy.
Hang on. So if all the ice in Antarctica, Greenland, and in the mountain glaciers around the world were to melt, sea level would rise about 70 meters or 230 feet. There's no way any of those skyscrapers would be underwater.
There you go.
There you go.
And then after Dylan Barrick, which is the boat guy, you got Lindsay Sullivan, which was Dr. Roy, Angie Theodora Dick, which played Joanne. And I think that was supposed to be that young girl who they picked up out of the barrel. Alex Ann Lose, who played Nathan Terry, which might have been the random guy who put that girl in a cage. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that. That was very strange. It seemed like it went from one scene to the next, and like she was just in a cage.
And then John B. Swart, who played Hideo. And then you had Christina.
Think Hideo Kojima, famous video game producer.
Yeah, Christina Visser, who played Dr. Caroline. That's basically the whole cast.
Which again,
there was some interesting.
Not terrible. And the production values weren't bad, I don't think. And I think like the CGI and the sharks wasn't horrible. I mean, it's definitely 1 billion times better than ice sharks.
Yeah, I don't make sense to this. Like the science doesn't make sense at all in any of these movies. I'm wondering if I'm ever gonna see any of the science make sense at all.
No. You have such titles like Sharknado exist. No.
Ice Shark didn't make sense because the ice. This one
had the mother queen shark that had psychic powers and like blue lights lit up in her nose. No, it wasn't even
like psychic powers. It was like she was able to control them because of her magnetic. Like she was able to like do things because of the magnetic field in her brain.
They tried to explain it, like they got into like super pods of dolphins and just a bunch of weird shit that it was really kind of dumb. Like they tried but really like they didn't need to frame their sharks as like a hyper intelligent like queen shark. Like they didn't need to do that. They could have just been overly aggressive sharks that were hungry because they were wiping out everything else in the ocean. Like they could have just done that, and then one of the sharks could have been bigger than all the others.
Yeah, but there was the one main female shark who was like had like the blue sensor, and she was like making the sharks control. Like one of them like literally jumped in front of her, like when they were. Was it a gun that was being shot? A spear? Like it literally took a shot and got itself killed.
Can we talk a minute about the haka?
Sure, go ahead.
Just the Louisiana girl that said, "We got ourselves a bunch of sharks to kill," and they basically did the haka on to lure the sharks in. I don't think that works. Typically when you make a lot of noise, it scares fish away, but somehow like all these like people do it, like non-Polynesian people doing the haka and
we do this all the time.
like screaming like, ha, but they like clearly like they wanted to do something similar because
Mm.
they were trying to portray like these
Like a
people
battle
as
cry.
no, they were trying to portray these people as some kind of like shark kill specialty shark killing like piratey type of tribalism.
Like they can handle their
And
business.
so they clearly wanted like a kind of tribal like war chant, like wanted to be intimidating, but it doesn't seem like they rehearsed anything. They're just like, go nuts with it, go crazy. So like the main lady, Louisiana, is like just like going with a spear, just going, ah! Check out the YouTube video for what I'm doing. It was bad. And then the sharks would get close enough that they could literally spear the sharks out of the water and flip them up. It was crazy.
Literally the sharks would jump onto the platform and then they would stab the shark.
They would stab the sharks forever. And then they would kick the sharks back into the water, which if it's the apocalypse, that is good meat in the apocalypse to eat. It made no sense. They were
and then they were like fishing them out, and then all of a sudden the mama shark or whatever comes up and is like, she's just too powerful for them.
This was after they saved the cage girl, right?
Yeah, and this was after junk something.
I needed to point out that they wanted to take her to salvation, so they told the main dude, they said unload your cargo and take her to salvation, and that made me laugh.
Yeah, so Salvation was the name of another.
But it sounded like a sex metaphor, and that's what made me laugh.
Also, that girl that we saw, Joanne, she had like no purpose in the film.
She really didn't, other than to be in a cage at one point.
At the beginning, her hometown area gets destroyed by the sharks. She's in a barrel. She literally runs. And then she's basically on the boat the whole time. She does nothing. One guy puts her literally in a cage. Like literally, she put the only colored person in a cage while the sharks are literally like, she's literally this far from the water. Like if that piece of wood were to break off, she would literally drown because she would instantly go in the water and get killed by the sharks.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, I gotta save for the shark. Help me. But she's locked in the cage. Like, you put her in the cage. How is she supposed to?
And then I like how the shark like chomped on him 100 times before he died. Like, it was literally like so fast, like chomp, 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 like comically.
I just didn't, the cage, and then the
sharks don't actually do that. They don't go chomp, 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 chomp. They would bite and rip, tear away, and then they'd swim back for another bite later.
And it was just, that part was fine. And then you see him with the Tonto come in. He's like, da, and it was.
Also, that's the queen shark seemed to be able to control her other sharks like at the literal speed of light, because like someone went to like, I don't remember who it was, but they shot an arrow from a bow and arrow.
Talking about.
And that shark like drove in front of it. But I'm saying like the time it took for like, first of all, the queen shark had to recognize that she was about to get shot by a bow and arrow. She could have just submerged, but as soon as the arrow was let loose, I mean, those things move really fast. Like a shark like jumped in front of it. Like, I'm just saying like the speed of which was really unrealistic, which I know is a crazy thing to say, like to want from a shark movie.
Yeah.
It took me out of it.
And then
you know what else took me out of it, Jasmine?
What?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, you didn't like that.
Okay, well, hold on. I think it's totally fine. Like, I'm not here to like explain someone like what their gender identity is supposed to be, but it never came up in the movie. Like, if you want the main character who was a woman whose name was Dr. What was it, Jasmine?
Dr. Roy.
Dr. Roy. So this woman is clearly like the leader throughout the whole movie. She's in constant contact with the scientists. She's calling the shots. Everyone's trusting her to make the decisions. She gets the final say.
Another blonde white woman.
Right. And which is totally fine. So like the fact that everyone calls, whenever she gives an order, everyone says, yes, sir, is totally fine with me. Like, I have no issue with that, but they didn't ever bring it up. Like, if you wanted to make a statement about gender identity and why it's cool that you could be whatever gender you want to be, like, you could have brought it up. over the course of the movie. Like someone could have looked at her and was like, "What are they?"
But he
always
was
call
the
you?"
only one who called her that. Who
No,
said
no,
that.
no. Oh, this both scientists said it
Was
to her.
it?
Yep, and then one of the people in the boat said it to her at one point as well, if I'm not mistaken. But like someone could have looked at her and be like, "What do they call her, yes, sir?" And then she could have given us like a little bit of backstory on herself and like before the
Yeah, there was
apocalypse happened.
there was no backstory on any of the characters really.
Because
They
we
were just
don't get
there.
I mean, name a movie with a transgender main character and we'll die waiting because there isn't one that I can recall. And that would have been cool if they would have delved into that a little bit. I think that would have been fantastic. But they never address it in the slightest.
No, they don't address a lot. I mean, they don't address why that that girl who got saved from the barrel.
I think that's got to be like a cut scene, right? Like the guy put her in the cage to probably keep her safe from the sharks, right?
Literally so small. She was curled up in a ball.
They had to put her in there to keep, quote unquote, keep her safe, but like I'm betting that scene got left on the cutting room floor, so it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it didn't make any sense. I mean, the science portion didn't make sense. I mean, yeah, if you're thinking apocalyptic, they had like you'd think that they wouldn't have that much technology, but apparently they have the technology to make a rocket and blow it up in past the atmosphere to stop the global warming and reverse it. But then they're using freaking old Mac PCs, like.
Yeah, that was really funny.
It was like, and half
like
the time
Apple
the screens weren't even on.
I don't even know where the fuck they would have
like,
gotten those things. It'd been cheaper to get like a newer computer than get those Apple computers because those things are basically collector's items. Like I bet you those cost a pretty penny on eBay these days.
Yeah,
but
they didn't make sense.
What did you think of Dr. Roy eating it at the end there or getting eaten?
I mean, they made this huge scene.
It's so anticlimactic.
They finally had like they were like, okay, we're going to how did they beat the shark in the first place? They had this oh no, they were going to use the shark's power, its electromagnetic current to power the rocket.
Right. Their batteries were shot or something like that. The ones that they needed to fire up the
Roy, she's
launch
over
of the rocket.
In this what are they? Those giant metal.
I don't know.
Shipping containers, the giant metal shipping containers. She's in one of those near the water. She's got two metal spears, and she's just like, "Come on!"
Yeah, and she lures the shark in, and they do whatever they're gonna do to electrically discharge it. And then at some point, she gets like dropped into the water, and she goes, "Ah!" Like, but it was like an angry, like, "Let's fight!" Ah! But then it's cut immediately short as she's devoured.
And you see that in the trailer. You see that in the trailer where she's like, "Yeah, come on!" So, but then she's like swimming nonchalantly afterwards, like she doesn't have to be worried about all the other sharks in the water. And then all of a sudden, she just goes dead. And it was like, oh well, there goes Dr. Roy.
Yeah, there she went. And then they shot the rocket.
And the water went down.
And the water went down, and they saw the inspirational sight of the Statue of Liberty's like torch coming back, cresting over the water.
Yes. I'm trying to think of any other scenes that really stuck out to me.
Well, boy, there were certainly scenes, weren't there? I feel like this had the potential to be a lot better if I don't know whose fault it would be. Not necessarily the directors, maybe. Well, yeah, probably the directors. But like, if this movie is
a great idea.
I feel like if this movie was cut better, right?
I don't know. I feel like this was a great idea, and like with the right people, the right actors, I think that this movie would be had the potential to be a really great shark movie, and not just to be like a B movie, but like a legitimate great shark movie.
You could have cut the fat guy entirely, cut him out. He serves no purpose. Little girl. You could no, don't cut her. Just expand her role. Give her a reason to matter in that.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Instead of putting her in the fridge. And then And then oh, like the second female doctor that's on the boat with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just why? Like she did that whole scene where she was paraglide surfing, kite surfing, yeah. To like lure that lasted way too long. Did not need that part. Didn't even need to happen.
At least she lived.
I guess, but I'm just saying it, brother. Regardless of whether or not she lived, how much did she contribute to the movie? Like that was her big deal. She got to kite surf and lure the sharks away and drop the targeting device.
Explained some of the shark stuff. Oh, did we mention that
You
they were
could have
trying to lure the sharks to get destroyed by a volcano? We missed that completely.
You can mesh all that into like another one of the characters' deals. You know.
Yeah. Well,
like,
they
you
also
didn't need this movie did not need 8 main characters in it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Also, we missed the topic about how they were going to destroy all of the shark species with a single eruption
of an underwater volcano. Yeah.
Of an underwater volcano.
And they needed to drop the signal device in the
airplane guy. I forgot about him. The airplane guy.
Yeah, the airplane guy was supposed to drop it, and the sharks jumped up and caught the plane and pulled it down. Like they
weren't able to catch the girl
who was
paragliding.
Well, they couldn't catch the girl that was paragliding, but also like they couldn't get the boat that everyone was on throughout the whole movie. Like they sensed a plane in the air, jumped up and grabbed it and yanked it down, but they could not. They just could not take that fucking boat out.
And there was a classic scene where we asked them why do they do this every time, where they literally jump into the water, even though that there are sharks there. And it's like the smartest thing. They're like, we have to jump. No, you didn't really have to jump, but they go in and they have.
All right, Jazmin. I think we've pretty well covered it, but
that's the movie, guys. That was an hour and 30 minutes of our lives that we.
I wanted to introduce a new segment. I don't know if I'm going to do this every time, but Jazmin, I took notes during this movie. I actually took notes. Be impressed. And now it's quiz time. I'm going to quiz you.
Why do I always have to be the one?
What does that mean? What do you mean? What is it? What?
Why is it always me?
Because you're the other person here. There's nobody else here but me and you. Does it even make sense? What is that question even? What is that question even?
Why don't you make a segment for you next time?
Oh, I'll make the quiz for myself so I'll know all the answers. Great, perfect. All right, Jazmin. Can you hear the TikTok?
No.
You can't hear that?
No.
Well, that's a shame.
I hear it's like a very small sound.
It's a ticking, talking, clocking. How about that one? It's a little louder.
It's a little louder.
Perfect. This will have to do until I get some better like quiz music. Jazmin, question number 1, what caused the poles to melt in the first place in this movie?
Was that even discussed in the movie?
Yes, in fact, it was.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what you want from me.
Or I'm sorry, what was the solution? I'm sorry. I misspoke the question.
The solution, they were going to reverse.
How are they going to reverse?
They were going to shoot a rocket.
Okay.
Into the sky.
More specificity.
That's basically all they said. They were shooting a rocket into the atmosphere that let off some type of fume, some type of thing, and it was going to explode, and it was going to cause the opposite effect of global warming. I'm
going to give you half a point because you're half correct. It was a red rocket that they wanted to jack off into the atmosphere, which would, of
course you said it like
which contained chemical scrubbers filled with carbon dioxide, and it would blow up in the atmosphere and release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Question number 2.
Did they really go into that much detail? I don't remember that.
The food web, according to Planet of the Sharks. Jazmin, tell us the correct order from smallest to the toppest.
What? Plankton.
Okay.
And then fish.
Okay.
And then The sharks.
You got it. Great job. They went straight from plankton to fish to sharks. So like they hit the major bullet points while skipping through that. And but the way they presented it was a little like, okay, like it's not just that, but all right.
It's makes sense. I'm gonna make that work.
Jasmine, question number 3. You have 1.5 points. Name that shark. Can you name every shark species that appeared in this movie?
There was
and I'm not counting like mutant psychic shark queen.
Hammerheads.
That's one.
How many are there?
I'm not going to tell you that.
You can at least tell me how many there are.
Can't do it. Afraid not.
Yes, you can.
No, you can just name sharks.
They didn't tell us.
They didn't tell us, but we saw them on screen.
I don't know. Great whites.
Okay. And that's it. You got both of them.
Okay. You're making me think that there's more.
Well, if I told you, if I said there was 2, you would have immediately got it. I gotta make you twist in the wind a little bit.
Well, I know more sharks. So.
I know things. Question number 4. Sharks use what to track their prey and apparently communicate according to this movie?
Magnetic fields.
Can you give me something else?
I don't know. It's like they use like the sensor in their brain. It's dolphin not echolocation. They don't use echolocation.
No, they absolutely do not.
That's
I'm looking for a specific word that Dr. Roy said.
I don't know.
That stuck out to me. I'll give you a half point for this. The word, because you're not totally wrong, but the word I was looking for was bioelectrics. Bioelectrics.
Really
That's what she said. So you're up to a grand total of, let's see, half, 1, 2, 3 points. 3 points. Remember that for me.
Okay. I'm
Next
at 3
question.
points.
Jasmine, what the heck are they firing and why?
What do you mean, the rocket?
No. No, the beam. The energy beam that caused the volcano to erupt underwater.
Oh my god. I don't remember the name of that thing. The Halo? Is that what it's called?
Is that what they called it in the movie?
I don't remember. They called it something.
I just want to note that they had access to a fucking Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War. And yeah,
Was it the Halo?
But they needed a goddamn battery to shoot fucking rocket in space.
I forgot about that giant laser, to be honest. I totally forgot about that.
That's a trick question because they never really.
No, there was a name for it.
They didn't get into what it was, how they got access to a fucking satellite in space that can shoot a fucking laser.
Yeah, but I don't remember what it was called. But just so you know, guys, that's how not memorable this movie was. I literally do not remember scenes from this movie.
Right. Jasmine, you got 3 points. The last one does not count against you.
Okay.
You need to get at least a half point here, and I will call it a C. Just like this movie is C plus. Yeah, the prize is entertainment for the people that listen to this show.
I don't know if that's
Jasmine. It takes 7.5 and up on the Richter scale. On the Richter scale. On the Richter quail. Is that a T-shirt? Richter quail. On the Richter scale for earthquakes are generally is what's required to create a tsunami wave. To make a tidal wave.
I forgot there was a tsunami wave in the movie too.
Correct.
There was so much in this movie that I totally forgot about. Holy crap.
So 7.5 and up is generally the amount of power from an earthquake necessary to create a tsunami wave. To make a tidal wave the size of the one that appears in the movie, how much force do you need? This one was a tough one. I had to do a lot of searching, and the answer that I never found an exact answer, nor did I feel like I could do the trigonometry necessary to get an exact answer, but I got a roundabouts answer that I'm pretty confident about. Get at me, hydrologist Taylor.
Can you give me a range?
All I'm giving you is it takes 7.5 and up on the Richter scale to create a tsunami wave, to create the smallest tsunami wave.
But they also needed to set off a volcano.
The volcano was essentially the tectonic activity that set off the tsunami. The explosion, the ensuing explosion of the volcano was the tectonic activity.
Okay, was it like a 9.5, 0.8? I don't know. I'm just freaking guessing. There's no way for me to know exactly. I'm not good at science. And I'm not good at
your final answer? Your final answer is 9.5?
9.8.
9.8?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. Around 9 on the Richter scale would make the wave in the movie, but only as it approached the shore. Okay, so what happens is when a tsunami wave is coming on the ocean, it's a lot smaller because the ocean's really deep. As a tsunami wave reaches the shore and the water becomes more shallow and shallower, that wave can't go under the water. Obviously, that force can't get us go under the water. It actually rises, and that's what makes them so deadly, because as they get close to the shore, they rise and they get their height. So think about that. A 9 on the Richter scale earthquake would equal the tsunami wave that destroyed a whole bunch of Japan a couple years ago. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I remember.
That wave was the size of the one in the movie.
Really?
But the one, approximately, I had to approximate because they didn't say, oh my God, here comes a 30-meter wave or whatever. I had to approximate based on the size of the wave compared to the size of the ship. I kind of guesstimated. So
look at you being so smart and stuff.
Let me tell you. So in order to create enough force, here we go. To create a wave of that size in the movie, that close to the epicenter of the blast, would require an unprecedented amount of energy, likely enough to do more than make a volcano erupt, but potentially be equivalent to the Chicxulub asteroid impact that killed the dinosaurs. Now that power equivalency is somewhat speculation on my part. But my point is that it's so much energy that a wave of that size from the epicenter, and it was immediately that big. By the time it got to any shores, should any shores still exist on the planet in this movie, that wave would be goddamn thousands of feet tall. I mean, literally nothing. None of the flotillas, their secret base that somehow didn't get hit with the tsunami, if you'll recall.
Oh, their science base?
Yeah, their science base with the rocket would have got hit with it too. Because it doesn't matter. You're in the middle of the ocean. It's going to go in every direction. They're going to get hit. Yeah,
that is true.
That wave, by the time it settled down, I mean, that wave would have been so big it would have changed oceanic currents. Like, it would have completely reshaped the planet, just killed every living thing above water, and probably a lot of stuff below water as well.
Somewhat correct about destroying the shark species.
Yeah, they would have killed everything.
But they ended up not even doing that.
Now, whether or not it was equivalent to the Chicxulub crater, I'm kind of just guesstimating on that a little bit. Like, I would have to do the math on the size of the Chicxulub asteroid, how much energy it landed with into the Earth, and then equate that to the estimated amount of energy that the fucking Hammer of Dawn laser did to that volcano exploding in the movie. And that's just the amount of math I'm not willing to fucking do. But the point of it all was that, like, the Earth is destroyed.
You know some other podcasts. Maybe you can get somebody to figure it out.
No, all my friends are dumb.
That's not true.
But yeah, so the only thing we have left, Jasmine, is
watch the trailer.
No. We'll get to that. But there is another new segment. I got it. Yay.
Ooh.
So I decided I wanted to also do some categories. Like, for every movie we do, we final verdict it, So Jasmine, what do we want to do? A scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 3 or 1 to 10? What do you want to do?
Let's do it out of 5.
Okay. So on a scale of 0 to 5 fins, the eye rolling factor of this movie.
So if we're at 5, we're talking like all the eye rolls.
All the eye rolls.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
I'm giving this one all the eye rolls equal to all the plankton in the sea. So
I didn't even think it
5+.
deserves eye rolls, and that's just me saying that the movie was
The
bad.
science, the weird haka dance, like the tsunami stuff, like the rocket
Okay,
shit.
maybe I'll give it a 3.
The way that
I just wanted to eye roll hearing all that stuff again. I wanted to eye roll.
yeah, so
Big sigh
fat
there.
dude that served no purpose. Like, yeah, there was a lot for me. So how much do you want? Did you still sticking to 2?
I'm doing a 3.5.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
All
Just
right,
do
I'll
a
give
3
it
or
a
a 4.
3.
Okay,
I'll
I'm
give
giving
it
it
a
a
3.
5, so it averages to a 4. 4 on the eye roll meter. Kill count rating based on the amount of carnage we witnessed in the movie. And what would you give this?
And were they good killings? You gotta think about that.
Well, I mean, there's only so many ways a shark could eat somebody, but I
mean,
will
there are some pretty cool ways.
There certainly is.
I mean, and the way it looks, you gotta take that into factor, like how shark, where his body was all like.
All right, so let's real quick, let's blast through them. The highlights would be plane guy getting taken down. That was so absurd that I actually liked it.
The lady basically jumping to her death. The Louisiana lady. She was like, oh, I'm gonna hit it with a spear, and then she gets swallowed up.
Was that a highlight? Or was that
it was
just
one of the main, it was a highlight
cornball?
shark killing.
That's kind of cornball.
But that's a part of, she was a part of the main
By the way,
cast.
what they should have done is like Dr. Roy should have been still alive inside the shark, like after they killed it, like she busts her way out. That'd been dope. But
Dr. Roy's killing was also a highlight.
No, it was lame. I didn't like it. I thought it was very anticlimactic.
It was a shark killing.
But it wasn't good. It wasn't a good one.
It was a highlighted event. They literally
we're talking about quality kills. Quality kills.
All the kills. You gotta put it all in.
You want quantity, I want quality.
Well, I'm getting both.
Quality is better than quantity. No, the only quality kill that I can think of, there's 2, is plain guy and fat guy, who got chomped like 1,000 times.
I don't know. I mean, sorry, I was getting a drink. I don't know. I mean, they had parts where they highlighted certain shark killings.
For this movie being what it was, which was basically Waterworld, Mad Max, shark movie, they could have been way more inventive with what they did, with more than what they did.
I give it 2 fins.
I'm giving it 1.
I'm giving it 2 fins.
So it averages at a 1.5, which I said we wouldn't do.
Actually, you know what? I lied. I'm gonna give it a 1. I'm giving it a.
So why are we arguing?
I'm ranking these higher than what I feel like they should be getting. I need to slow down here.
Oh my gosh. The blood in the water chum rating. So you explain this one.
Blood in the water. Was there a lot of blood? Was there a lot of gore? Did we see a lot of intestines?
No, that goes with the kill count. No, this is more like the level of sharks that participated in this movie.
Well, then you need to say shark count.
No, that's the next one. So like, did we like the sharks we saw? Did they behave like sharks in any way? Did the hook of the whole thing is the shark or sharks? Like Santa Jaws for me is a 5. Santa Jaws is a fucking legend. House Shark for me is a 4. It's a fucking legend, but it kind of looks dopey as fuck.
I like the scenes where they were like all the sharks. Like I love that scene where you get the bottom and you just see them all swimming. I like that scene.
That's just a normal everyday shark. You can go in the ocean, sit on the bottom of it, and you'll look up, and eventually you'll see a shark go above you.
But I liked it.
It boils down to, did we like Queen Mother Psychic Shark?
I do like a queen.
Did we like Khaleesi Shark?
She
had no personality whatsoever. She was just a queen bee for sharks, but she didn't really.
She did have someone basically commit suicide for her.
Yeah, but it was so fast, and it just that scene specifically took me out of it. The only bit of like kind of quote unquote personality that she had, because they built her up as this big mutant, hyper intelligent shark, was the lights in her face, which I guess is. It sets her apart from just the standard old shark.
I'm giving it 4 fins because I like a queen.
But also, she wasn't like, come on, you're making a mutant shark, make her big. Like
But
I mean,
she was big.
She was big for a real world shark, but she wasn't big for like a fucking sci-fi movie, you know, in an apocalypse.
That's like Mega Shark and stuff.
No.
That's
Just make
big.
her, give her like an extra, I don't know, give her an extra 10 feet of girth around. Make her swallowing people like literally whole, like it's nothing. Not megalodon size, but just a step down. Why not?
Give her 4 fins.
Why
Her.
didn't they just make her a megalodon? And she's controlling all the baby sharks that are actually normal sized, massive, like 20 footers. But they're all and like, oh, when the world flooded, the megalodon rose from the depths to reclaim the earth.
That would have made sense.
See?
Would have made sense.
Just saying. So you got a 4.
I love a queen, so
I'm giving her a 3. I feel like I'm being generous here.
I like a queen shark.
So the last one is the overall shark rating for this movie. I'm
gonna give it 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. Wow. I was gonna give it a 3, but if you take the combined scores that we gave it in the previous categories, it averages out to a 3. So
again, I wouldn't watch this movie a second time.
But hold on a second. Eye rolling's gotta hurt it, right? That's not a good thing. The fact that it got 4 out of 5 in eye rolling is bad. So that should be like negative towards the final thing. I also feel like
sighing every single time I have to talk about this movie some more. I'm just like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh, I can't remember. I honestly, it was an okay movie. My expectations were too high. That's all it was. It had a good, it could have been, like I said, I think that this story could have been good. I think it's a good story, but it was not executed like I wanted it to be executed. That's it.
Hang on a second, I'm doing math.
I'm not good at that, so I'll let you get to that.
You can fill time though while I do this.
I don't know what else to say about this movie. I keep wanting there to be a really good shark movie. I know there's a couple good ones that we're going to be watching, but we're not going to be watching them anytime soon that I know of. The trailer did what a trailer did, and it got me really excited, and then the movie itself failed me.
The new calculations are in after eye rolling, which I'm basically equating that to a -4.
And the score is...
Your mic went out, but it's a 1.
1 out of 5 fins.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair, honestly.
How about we give it a 1.5?
Because I feel like if Ice Sharks is a 0 and like 47 and like 47 meters down is a 5, where does this fall on that scale?
A 1. I mean, IMDb says it's a 2.9 out of 10, and I agree with that 2.9 out of 10.
Based on all the shark movies,
I agree with.
Based on all the shark movies that we've ever seen, you and me, not including this show, this one falls right square in the middle, does it not?
Not for me.
Which ones were better? Where does it? There's no way it's better than House Shark. There's no way it's worse than Ice Sharks.
Everybody.
There's no way it's better than 47 meters down.
I guess it's better than Ice Shark, but at the same time, it's still at the bottom. I wouldn't even. It's like it would be the 3rd movie if you did, House Sharks, Ice Sharks, and this movie. It would be 3rd.
I give up.
I agree with IMDb.
You're a crazy person.
IMDb says that
you're a crazy person.
2.9
I think this movie deserves a little bit more credit than I mean. I know we've been heavily criticizing it throughout the course of this episode, but I think it deserves a little credit for I think the acting is passable and mostly passable, and I feel like the effects were very
They look
good.
like sharks. They look like sharks.
Well, not just that, but like set design, costumes, things of that nature. I thought it was.
I
Thought it
mean,
was fine. It was
they could have
fine.
done it in deeper water.
It didn't take
They
me
could have
out of
done
it.
it in deeper water.
It didn't take me out of it. And like filming location, fucking bomb diggity. Like all that stuff, fantastic. I feel like the flaws in the movie are the story itself is fucking insane and ridiculous. Like it doesn't need to be this whole world-saving endeavor. It could literally be Walking Dead, but with sharks, where it's just a story about survivors.
Do we have a zombie shark movie at all?
Yeah, it exists. Okay. We're not watching it this season, but it exists. But I'm just saying, like, it's like The Walking Dead is not about the zombies. It's about surviving, and that's what this should have been. So, like, I feel like the storytelling is the flaw. The weird decisions they made with scenes that seem to like not like be missing context, like the girl in the cage.
And they just didn't give
characters that were there for some reason that didn't need to be there or weren't fleshed out.
Couldn't connect with any of them.
And then it just needed cohesion.
I couldn't connect with any of the characters. Like they didn't give you any way to connect with the movie. I just don't think there was a way to like.
You didn't want to come get some. we do things, yeah. We need to watch us a movie trailer.
We do. This movie, I would agree with IMDb. Brett's saying no. I say 2.9 out of 10. That's what I'm gonna.
We have to come to a consensus.
All right, I'll give it a 3 out of 10. How's that?
We're not. I thought we was doing on scale 5.
Yeah, but if we were going by the 10, I would give it a low 3.
Doing it on our own scale, our own scale.
5. 5 is a high number.
The scale said based on the averages we gave it. The scale said it's a 1.
That's what I would agree with. But
and I'm willing to consign that it's a 1. But I also want to say that feels harsh and that it doesn't totally deserve it, but that's the way the math works out.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we should
do it to Final 10. Verdict, 1 out of 5. But I just want to be noted down, Speaker of the House, that I was against.
Okay, well, what would it be if it was out of 10 then?
Based on our scale?
Yes.
I mean, 2.
Exactly, 2.9.
Or 3. Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying it's better. If you saw 1 out of 5 on the back of the box, you'd be like,
watching 47
it's better
meters
than
down
that.
next.
We are.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. We're about to do. So check out the YouTube video version of this show
I'm so excited.
So that you can see our faces as we react to this trailer. Now, full disclosure,
I'm so excited.
This is the first movie that we'll be watching that is a movie we've already watched.
Yes, I'm excited. I actually like this movie, guys. I actually like a dang shark movie that we're gonna watch.
But I want to put this caveat. This is the sequel.
Yes, but you don't need to see the first movie to see the second.
You don't. But the reason why we're watching the sequel is because for some reason the first movie is not on Amazon Prime, so we can't do a Twitch watch party on it. I haven't really looked into any other means to figure out the first movie, but someday we'll cross that bridge where I look into it and then we actually do it. But it's not going to be for this season. For this season, I wanted to do the sequel anyway.
Do you have the sound set up properly?
Oh no, gosh! Every single time, right?
Every single time, I gotta remind you.
I gotta.
But guys, I actually like this movie. Did we see this movie together?
We did. We saw this in theaters back when theaters were a thing.
Yeah.
To be clear, like the first 47 meters down is my bar. It's definitely better. It's definitely better, but it's like my bar for a good shark movie because I think. Personally, it's my favorite shark movie.
I liked it. Me and you, we loved that movie. Everyone else seems to disagree. Perfect. I thought it was so good.
It is one of the most perfect movies that has ever existed.
It's so good.
Regardless of being a shark movie or not, it's fantastic. Movie. We can't say it was
a good movie.
So without any further ado, let's watch the trailer for 47 Meters Down, Uncaged.
Let's do it. You fix the sound?
So right away, we got our setup here. You got the dad is basically give them a pamphlet for shark diving or something.
He's also a famous actor, by the way.
Who is he?
I don't remember his name, but I know he's a famous actor.
Well, he's not that famous then, apparently.
I've seen. I don't know a lot of actors' names. I've seen
why
his
don't you
face
look
in
it
a lot
up?
of movies.
Why don't you look it up? Because I got the screen up here. So, and then we see a bunch of cute girls, you know, swimming in a beautiful pond somewhere tropical. Right, and here we go.
That guy.
I never saw that for obvious reasons.
Northern Exposure, Sex in the City.
Never saw any of those.
Serendipity.
Never. Well,
The Boy
I think
Next
I saw that
Door.
once.
The Boy Next Door.
Didn't see that one.
Raising Helen.
So yeah,
he's pretty famous.
So what do we think about the trailer, as far as trailers go? Because we're not talking about the movie because we've already seen it, but we're talking about just the trailer as a base trailer. Was it a good trailer?
It made me want to go see this movie in theaters.
It's a good trailer. You could definitely immediately tell it's a big budget movie for straight, especially after you watch a bunch of these like B movies trailers. Like you get to this one and you're like, okay, there's a clear and defined difference. Just with like the cameras they're filming with is immediately noticeable. Just looks good. But also I remember starting to remember some scenes of this movie and being pretty fucking harsh. Like, yeah, so it's gonna be exciting. So
I'm gonna say stuff, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, so provided everything goes good with both of our tests, which we'll definitely know by the time, it's time to do.
How long did they say that your test would take?
2 to 3 days.
Okay. I don't remember how long.
I should find out either tomorrow or the next day.
Hopefully we both test negative and we can watch the movie on Saturday.
Well, hold on. You're getting ahead of yourself. So we're gonna schedule to watch the movie on January 30th, Saturday, at 7 p.m. Eastern. And this one's gonna be on, whose turn is it? Mine, BREAKERstreams. So twitch.tv/BREAKERstreams, links in the description. Yeah, so that's where we're gonna watch that. So next Saturday, as of when you're listening to this recording, that's when we're gonna do it. Be there, be square.
I'm telling you, when we watched this movie, it was a good movie.
It was good. It wasn't as good as the first one, but man, it's
better than the Meg.
Oh, the Meg's the worst. I hate the Meg. I fucking hate the Meg. And we're gonna watch someday. We'll probably watch it too.
Big budget shark movies.
I don't even want to get started on the Meg right now, but yeah. So that's the plan. January 30th, Saturday,
I'm excited.
7 p.m. Eastern.
I'm
47 meters down, Uncaged.
I'm gonna finally like a movie that we're gonna watch. I'm gonna give it 5 fins already. 5 fins.
Spoiler alert. So yeah, this has been Jaws Breakers. Check out our other show, Pokemon After Dark Rye. It's a no holds barred, no nothing podcast. We're talking about Pokemon and hurt the ones we love.
I'm not in that, but check it out.
Sometimes you've been in it before.
It's been a while.
And you know what? Check me out on BREAKERstreams on Twitch, and check Jasmine out on Twitch at Meteor Doll. Links in the description. No, underneath, below.
Yeah, but you can also see my name. You can also see a bar. There's a bar here. Okay, if you could see it.
Okay, so on my screen's the one that's recording. It's actually on the other side. No, it's on the other side. Nope, the other one. There it is. That's where it's at. Yep, you got it. I don't even know if the names show through on the recording. I honestly don't. I've just watched them back. I've never noticed. I'll have to look for the next thing. But yeah, hey, thanks so much for listening. If you like, tell a friend about the show. If you got comments, feedback, questions.
I do have to warn you guys. I do believe that you have to have Twitch Prime in order to join us in the Twitch watch party.
That's correct.
I didn't think that was the case, but just a heads up, if you do want to watch, you will need Twitch Prime.
But yeah, anyway.
Amazon Prime.
Okay. Questions, comments, blah, blah, whatever, hit us up, find us on our Twitches, or you can send me a tweet at After Dark Rye or Let's Die Pod or the Pod Dog. One of them will take you to me, or Instagram at InstaPodDog. We're there under the Pod Dog Productions umbrella. And even if you got ideas for games we could play, or things that you want us to talk about or give you advice on, anything of the sort, I'm more than happy to entertain it on the air.
True that.
All right.
And just remember,
Smile, you son of a
bitches.
bitch. Bye.
Bye.